Well, hey, everybody, I'm Holly Tate, SVP of Growth here at Leadr. And today I am joined by Toby Weiss, who is the CEO of Rooted Software and one of our Leadr partners. So, Toby, thank you so much for being with us today. I would love to start out by you introducing yourself and tell us about Rooted Software and what you guys do.
Thanks, Holly. Yeah, I'm Toby. I'm the CEO here at Rooted, and I live in the Bay Area. Although, as you can tell from my accent, I'm not originally from California. I am English. Um, but yeah, thanks for having me here today. Rooted is a company that's only 2 years old, but we have 27 staff coast to coast, and we work with ministries, churches, and small businesses to help them with managed IT. We help with system consulting, help me pick a CRM or an online fundraising tool for nonprofits. And then we also do app development. So
Wonderful. I like the combination there of outsourced professional services, but also can actually develop the software too. That's fun.
Yeah,
Kind of have your hand in both pots.
exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, and we love to be the one-stop shop. First of all, can you just run my IT and keep my computers running, and then help me pick my software, and then can we build an app?
Yeah, you're like, yes, yes, and yes.
Exactly.
Well, tell me a little bit about the team at Rooted. So would love to hear, I mean, you're the CEO, would love to hear what the team looks like. I know you're spread out all over the country. How many people is it? And what does it look like from a leadership structure perspective?
Yeah, we have 27 staff and about 5 contractors on top of that, spread out across 10 different states. And we have 4 teams in the company and a few extra people. So basically for the lines of business I just mentioned, like managed IT, we have a service desk team in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and they have a couple of stragglers in California. Then we have for the app development team, we have that team, 2 of them in Kansas, 1 in Florida, and some contractors as well. And then for the systems consulting team, that has about 9 people. That team is actually totally spread out. So we've got some in Virginia, some in Colorado, some in California, some in Washington State, probably some other Ohio, some other places as well. We also have a project management team with 3 people, all spread out. And then, so those are the main teams. Then we have a couple of other people, like an admin assistant, some other consultants as well. So
Yeah.
So each of those teams has a leader. Those are our leadership teams, our leadership team, basically.
That makes sense. So as the CEO leading the whole team, what are the leadership challenges that you faced as you have built and developed the team there at Rooted?
There's some challenges with just what does it mean to have remote people, and how do you have intentional relationships? How do I have intentional relationships with 27 people across 10 states? Well, I can't, obviously. So I need to make sure that my managers, my leaders are having intentional relationships with their people. And that means, are they having regular one-on-ones? Do they have goals? And are they just caring for the people as people? Because it's not just about, are they doing the work? And somehow I need to have the ability to keep tabs on all of that remotely. And that really wasn't working well until we found a tool to help.
Well, we are very excited to help you with that. Because yeah, as you just said, a lot of times I like to describe it as as we grow from, when we found a company, we're like a track star. And then we start to hire a couple people and we're like golf buddies. Then we grow to the basketball team and then the football team, which is y'all are kind of right in that basketball team to football team. And it's just harder because everything breaks down. You can't all communication moves a little bit slower, decisions move a little bit slower. And I'm so glad to hear that you identified that. And we're like, okay, what are some solutions to help us solve that? So as you identified, wait, how do we really scale the development of our people as we grow, since you can't have an intentional relationship with all 27 of the team? What were different solutions that you were looking at as you came across Leadr?
I was really just, first of all, thinking how do I, if I don't find a way to invest in my people, we will fail as a company. We have to, we were doing a 6-month performance review using a Microsoft Word document, but that's not a relationship and it's too infrequent. So that's something we had tried. Obviously there's Slack messages. Some things we did that work pretty well. We use a peer recognition tool, so everyone can recognize everyone else and share it publicly. But to do it from a kind of the top-down perspective as well as the peer-to-peer perspective, I think that was missing. It's just kind of you talk to people on Zoom and how's it going with this person, this person, this person, this person, but I don't really have a way to report on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you come across Leadr?
That's a good question. I actually think that you guys came across me and some outbound marketing was successful, and I actually responded to one of your emails. So
Yes.
nicely done.
Our team will
I'm
love
at,
hearing that. But what stuck out to you about it? Why did you return the call?
well, I needed to find something. Like we had a need, and so the timing of it was perfect because we're already at the point of like, wow, we're running this company, and all of a sudden we grew from like 2 people to 27 people in 2 years, and I have to care about these
Wow.
people. That's really, really, really fast growth. It's not like slow. It's like I have a big company really fast, and I have all these people, and I'm used to being in a situation where we're all in an office, and I like take people out for coffee and spend like a lot of time with them and get to know them and ask them a lot of questions. But I can't do that with a big remote company. So it's like we have to find a tool, and we were already thinking about how do we track performance, how do we track goals, how do we like actually make sure that leaders are investing into their people. And we had a few situations where that wasn't happening, and we had to deal with the consequences, and some people had to go because they weren't happy. But if we had some tools to see some of those issues before they became issues, we might have been able to prevent that. And so some lessons learned the hard way, but we knew that we needed to do something, and so we just found Leadr at the perfect time.
Oh, that's awesome. I love when the timing works out, that where you were already experiencing that and thinking about that. That is incredible growth. 2 years from 2 people to 27. That is awesome, Toby. But yes, I can only imagine. I mean, that's what our co-founders, that's why they created Leadr, because they had founded a company previously where they grew from 0 to 400 in just a few years. And they couldn't grow their people as fast as the company was growing. So I'm curious, now that you guys have been using Leadr for a while, how has it helped your team?
I think the main way it's helped our team is to actually think about their people. Because before we had like, we have a leadership meeting, we're like, you need to care about your people, you need to do one-on-ones. But then it's just like, yep, and then they just get busy. And the one-on-one meetings, when they happen, they end up just being about, tell me about this project and this project and this project. And so what Leadr really helped us to do is to be intentional. It's like we have this tool, which is all about people. And so that's going to drive your one-on-one meetings, not, if the thing in front of your face is like, we use Asana for our project management system. If that's what you're looking at, you're going to be distracted with the projects. And you do need to talk about the projects that the person's doing, but that's not really where we should start and end the conversation. So I think Leadr's been helpful because it gives us the tool that makes us intentionally think about like, how can I care about these people? And like, for example, like the questions that you guys have, like, how's it going being a remote employee? Or what's the most exciting thing that happened to you this week? Like, we don't always like intuitively think of those questions. When you see them in the list, it's like, of course, those are great questions, but they don't just come to my brain. And so just having them there to like, here's the question of the week, like that, those lead to other good conversations with people. So I think that's been really good. I think the profile feature is good. We're starting to use the goal feature of Leadr, and because before it was just performance review and then you don't look at it. And now it's like the goal is right there. Whenever you have your one-on-one, it's at the top. And so you're going to keep coming back to it. And how's it going? What's happened since last time? And then just little things like agendas and follow-ups, like all of it's helpful, all of it's exciting. And all of it helps us really focus back on the people and not just on the work that the people are doing.
So good, Toby. Yeah, often when we're in especially fast growing environments, it can be tempting to just focus on performance. But what we often forget is that developing our people is what drives performance. And so it's so fun to talk with leaders like you who really get that and are trying to create a culture this early on in your company that really first values and cares for the development of your people so that you can drive performance and meet those growth goals. That's awesome. I love it.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
what advice would you give? So if there's, for those that are watching this today and are thinking about Leadr, what advice would you give to that person that still has some questions and just isn't quite sure yet?
I think the first question I would ask somebody is, before you even think about the tool, it's like, what are you trying to get out of your business? Like, what is your culture of your company? In our case, there was 3 words, which I won't go into the details. It's on our website, rooted.software, but it's fidelity, compassion, and drive. And, that's how we want to behave with one another and with our customers. I would zoom in just on compassion. Like, what we mean by compassion is we want to care about people more than we care about technology, even though we're a technology company. Somebody comes to me with a broken computer with steam coming out of it, like I need to be a counselor before I fix their computer because they're stressed. But I also want to care about my staff that way. And so the first question is like, how do you want to behave? And when you figure that out, I hope the answer includes, we want to care for our people. We want to develop our people. We want them to enjoy working here. It's not just a job to get a paycheck and to get stuff done, but we want to leave better than we came as a person. And then if that's how you want to behave, then the next question is like, how are you gonna actually measure that? How are you going to implement that? How are you going to improve that? And you have to have a tool, in my opinion. It doesn't just like happen, and even just having a meeting where you say, we are going to invest in our people, like that's not enough. Like you need tools, managers need tools, because otherwise the important gets replaced by the urgent of this project needs to be done. And you never get back to the important part of like, I need to care about this person who's going through some difficult things. People need care. And so I think when you figure out what you want and you know that you need a tool to get there, then I would encourage looking at something like Leadr, because it's, a few things about it. It's really simple to learn, and it just makes you think about people in a way that you wouldn't without a good tool for that purpose.
Well, that means the world to hear a software developer to tell that to us about our tool. So I completely agree with you, Toby. So it's awesome to see that you see the same thing, that it's an easy to use. And I love what you said there about the important often gets replaced by the urgent. That right there was gold, and is so important for us to remember as leaders, because if that's true for us, it's happening all the way down the org chart. So thank you for that reminder. Well, Toby, thanks for spending time with us today and sharing your story. We are cheering you on and the entire Rooted team as you continue to have the growth that you are and helping so many awesome organizations around the country and the world.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're super excited to be partnering with Leadr, and it's helping us grow effectively. So thank you.
That's awesome. Of course.